Can be louder?
Yes, okay. Let me adjust the speakers here. How about now?
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Okay, thank you.
Akshay ji, are we good to go live? Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. And we have 35 participants. Can we wait for another 2 minutes? We have people joining in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we can start.
Thank you, Akshay. Can we mute all the participants? Namaskaram. I welcome all the participants who have joined for today morning's live session. All the Vidwans, all the music students, all the gurus who are joining us today morning. A very, very warm welcome to this Sunday morning session. This session is about connecting the ocean of Jyotish Shastra and the Sangeeta Shastra. I am your host for the session, Priya Jayant. Gurudev says Jyotish is the eye to wisdom. It makes you see beyond the immediate situation and gain some inner strength. And music is an integral part of our life. It keeps our spirits high and unites people. It unites people of all religion, caste, community, and brings an inner peace. Our today's distinguished speaker, Dr. Nemani Venkata Raghunatha Rao, is a notable figure with a remarkable journey spanning academia, technology, and Vedic astrology. Holding a PhD in business management from a prestigious US institution, he currently serves as the Director of Data Analytics and Artificial Intelligence, contributing significantly to the technological landscape of San Francisco, California, USA. However, what truly distinguishes Dr. Nemani is his profound engagement with Vedic astrology, which has been a consistent thread throughout his journey. His exploration of the celestial realms began in 2002 under the guidance of eminent luminaries in the field of Jyotish, including Sri H. Ramadasa Rao, Pandit Sanjay Rath, and others. Through years of dedicated study and practice, he has garnered deep insights into the ancient wisdom of Vedic astrology. Dr. Nemani's expertise and dedication has been recognized through various honors and accolades, including titles such as Jyotish Acharya, Jyotish Chaitanya, Jyotish Visharada. These accolades not only underscore his mastery on the subject, but also acknowledge his contribution to the field. Dr. Nemani is also an accomplished writer. He has published 82 articles in renowned astrological magazines and authored 4 comprehensive astrology books. His unique approach combines traditional Vedic principles and contemporary scientific methods, enriching the field with a holistic perspective. I welcome Dr. Rao Nemani to take over the session from now. Namaskar.
Namaste. Thank you, Priyaji. That's too much of introduction. I think I'm a very small guy. I think in the ocean of knowledge I'll be talking in a minute is I know very, very little. With that note, I wanted to take a minute to pray to Devatas and Gurudev before I start this particular presentation. Shamukascha ekadantasya kapilo gajakarnakaha lambodarasya vikato vignarajo ganadipaha धूमकेतु गणाध्यक्षः फालचन्द्रो गजाननः वक्रतुण्ड शूर्पकर्णो हेरम्बस्कन्दपूर्वजः. So with praise to Lord Ganapati, let's hope that I will be given the right knowledge to share what I intend to share today. From next few minutes onwards, I'm just a conduit, a pipe. The knowledge will flow without my control. Having said that, I wanted to share my screen and share some of the thoughts for today's topic. Can you see my screen, Priyaji?
Yes, this is better.
Perfect. Thank you. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Sriyai Namaha. Om Sriyai Namaha. Om Sriyai Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Sarvam Sri Mahalakshmi Arpanamast. With that note, we have taken the permissions and blessings from Devatas and also Gurudev. So to start this presentation, I would like to take blessings from Gurudev. Such a beautiful smile. He always gives the blessings to all of us. So let's keep our energies together to go to this journey together for next maybe an hour or so. And I wanted to bring this presentation today with Gurudev's one particular quote. I know he has given so many quotations, but this particular one is very, very relevant for today. He says, music is food for emotions. Knowledge is food for the intellect. And meditation is the food for the soul. Three key words. They'll be very, very subtle inside. I'll be taking those into deeper. Probably I'll connect all these dots at the end. I will exactly show what Gurudev's meaning of this particular one for all of us, right? Just keep in mind, emotions, intellect, and soul. With that note, so I wanted to bring a picture to you. I think many of us may have seen this particular location. If you know that, fantastic, write to me. Where did you see this? What's the location? So these are the two rivers. The nadis are actually flowing together. They're actually coming from a different location. So one is, maybe if I could put a picture like this is the Sangeeta Shastra flowing eternally from ever. The knowledge is flowing all the way. Similarly, Jyotish Shastra also flowing together. And the sadhakas like you and me, just little tiny people here. See this? Small, tiny. This is what I consider myself, even though I think Priya Gauri gave lots of good introduction about accomplishments. In my opinion, if you look at the bigger picture, I'm a small, negligible person, which I know nothing about any Shastra. I'm still a student, a sadhaka, upasaka, just like you, taking one sip of this jnana from the Sangeeta Shastra or Jyotish Shastra. Just imagine such a river of knowledge. It may take possibly millions of lifetimes for me to, or for you to get there. Having said that, these rivers are actually flowing into, coming back to the sagaras, samudras. As you can see, Jyotish Shastra is a samudra, an ocean, and Sangeeta Shastra. If you look at the rishis for astrology, Jyotish Shastra, like Parashar Maharshi and Jaimini and Varahamihira, they talked about various principles and say, who is the person who actually can learn Sangeeta Shastra? Whether this person takes as an exercise to continue for some time or maybe goes forever. a continuous learning, practicing as a sadhaka or upasana, or what type of instrument they use, if they use instruments, what type of vocal system they use, what type of capacities and capabilities. All these principles are taught to us by rishis already. We know that. Similarly, Sangeeta Shastra, the Vagya Karkas also talked about various relevance of the Jyotish, I'll be talking about in a minute. And they say expression, the bhava prakatitam of Sangeeta Shastra, taking kirtanas, kritis, and swaras, they actually talked about the similar thing. So there's a huge amount of correlation in this. But I think for so many years, these are done independently. Maybe it's there, but nobody has talked about it. For the recent most times, one of the great, my friends, my teachers, Sri Madhubabu Prakhigaru has done a phenomenal amount of work on this activity. And he said, well, I'm continuing my research, Rao Garu. Why don't you continue this into deep dive? So today I'll be taking with his pointers. Thank you, Madhubabu Garu, for the pointers given to me, and my research is continuous. If you go back and say, if I connect these two samudras, oceans, we can actually go and do lots of activities together. What are those? What is the deep connection between these two? The deep connection between these two. These two, in the sense, Jyotish Shastra and Sangeeta Shastra. We could also go very, very deep, like an ocean trench level, and find out many combinations, many correlations. I think there are profound, a few hundreds of combinations I've seen. Possibly today, because of lack of time, maybe short of time, I should say, that I may be taking a tip of the iceberg. Maybe I'll take some of those to create an enthusiasm and curiosity for you, just to say how these two sagaras, oceans, are connecting together. From an astrology perspective, from a Sangeeta Shastra, I'll be limiting myself today for Sangeeta Shastra, particularly for Carnatic music. And similarly, maybe if the time permits, we'll also do some exercise on Natya Shastra and Jyotish. Phenomenal amount of combinations also there. We'll continue that journey if time permits and God is willing. With that note, my name is Nemani Venkat Raghunath Rao, as Priya Garu introduced myself. And today is February 25th, 2024 at 10 a.m. in India, which is February 24th, 2024, 8:30 p.m. for me in California time. And I would like to welcome all of you and also thank you very much for joining today and sparing your time for a wonderful journey together to see what are these intricacies, what are the combinations of this. I'm titling this topic as Connecting the Oceans of Sangeeta Shastra and Jyotish Shastra, right? And also I mentioned my name and email address here. If you are stuck with any doubts, questions on this particular topic, feel free to write to me. I'll respond to you as well. Also, little logistics point of view, I've requested the Priya Garu and also the technology folks behind the scenes to keep all of you in mute, because I wanted to flow the knowledge first. I want to get the knowledge in a very structured manner. Then we'll possibly come back and say, discuss and churn much more. The churning is important, but in a much more structured manner. And also, importantly, take notes and do not worry about the slides. I will be sharing all the slides to you. Don't pay any more attention of taking pictures and all. Don't worry, it's coming to you. After this session is done, you will have this through email. Write to me, I'll send it to you as well, right? So, but maybe one particular slide I'll ask you to take a picture, because that's the framework which I'll be introducing today. Maybe you'll use it during the session as well. So with that note, let me go into the foundation. Today's agenda is very straightforward, very simple. Introduction of the topic. I also talk about Carnatic music principles, and also we'll take Jyotish principles as well. And those two I'll try to stitch together for the maybe next 30, 40 minutes. And definitely we'll go for question and answers as well, right? With that note, if you go foundationally, the Sangeeta Shastra is coming from Samavedam, where astrology is part of Vedanga, right? We all know that. This is a thing we've been taught by teachers or parents, grandparents. There's nothing new. But if you look at a little deep dive, I would say the Vedangas are there. Vedangas are six Vedangas. As you can see, Shiksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha, and Kalpa. So Jyotisha is one of those Vedangas, as Priya Garu introduced when Gurudev was saying, it is the eyes of Kalapurusha, Chakshu. That's why we call Jyotisha gives the knowledge in terms of looking around, looking for the Jyoti Isha. Jyoti is a light. So maybe with this help, I'm trying to find the light myself. Where is the light? Where is the light, basically? So similarly, if you go to the Vyakarana, I'll talk about this in a minute, how important for you as a Carnatic music practitioners, very critical for you to understand the Vyakarana, which is grammar. And of course, Chandas is the meter, rhythm, Kalapurusha's foot level, which means the rhythm is actually coming from that particular activity as well. So Vedanga's got a very, very close relation between Sangeeta Shastra as well as Jyotish Shastra, as you can see. Now, in fact, astrology is an essential part of Carnatic music. It's more subtle aspect. We'll talk about in much more detail in coming minutes. But I think keep that in mind. They're all so interconnected. I was really surprised when I was started doing the research for the last couple of years, even though I'm spending time in astrology for more than, say, 20 plus years. Wow, I really enlightened and said, oh my gosh, there's so much of commonality between these two Shastras. Maybe I'll try to share those in a minute. So if you look at these Vaggaya Karakas, we all know Purandardasha in 14th, 15th century, and the trinity of Carnatic musicians like Syamasastri Garu and Muthuswami Dikshitar, as well as Saint Tyagaraja Brahma. These are all legendary rishis, I call. These rishis have provided a tremendous amount of structure to us by giving a swara, swara sastra, swara sthanas, ragas. They structured very, very well. So question comes to our mind, what happens before this 14th century that Sangeeta Shastra doesn't exist? Of course not. It is us existing as an eternal, as I mentioned to you before, but this was structured by these great legendary rishis so that we have a pattern to follow, a method to follow in a structured manner. We'll take them slowly one by one. Now, if you look at the swara characteristics, as all of you know, swaras, there are sapta swaras, Sari, Gama, Padani. So I try to map and create a framework from Jyotish and the Swara Shastra with Swara characteristics from Sangeeta Shastra. As you can see, the Swara Sa is mapped to Graha Surya. And also I created a chakras, how they're connected with this and what type of colors they actually focus on, what dvipams these particular swaras actually represent. Remember when we do the sankalpa, we'll say Jambu Dvipe, Pradham Khande, all these things are coming in. In America, we say Kroncha Dvipe instead of Jambu Dvipe. Means these swaras represent a particular dvipam as well. And also they represent a particular lineage, which is called Vamsham. We'll talk about in a minute how these are connected, how can we leverage this, how can we use this connected together in a couple of minutes. Similarly, each swara has got a devata connected. For example, Sa swara is Agni Tattva, Agni Deva, and Ga is Saraswati. Similarly, these swaras are actually taking a birth on a particular nakshatra. Can you imagine that? Just like you and me, we born in a particular nakshatra, we have rashis. Similarly, these swaras also have nakshatras based on the rishis have taught to us. And also they use certain vastrams, in the sense the clothes we're wearing today. We're all wearing a particular type of clothes today. Each swara has got a vastram associated with, and also they have associated with the gemstones as well. And we'll talk about this and how these are used by Muthuswami Dikshitar, composing those ragas in coming minutes. And of course, Prakriti. What are these devatas they're connected to? For example, Sakaram, Saswara is connected to Gandharvas. Similarly, Kinnaras, Yakshas, Kimpurushas, they're all the various Prakriti Swarupas also created by these Swaras as well. Okay, so just keep this framework in mind as we will be leveraging this as we progress in a couple of minutes. Now, coming back to Jyotish. Jyotish basic principles, as you know, is a 360 degrees zodiac. And we were told that Dwadasha Rashis, if we divide by 12, a simple mathematics is 360 by 30 degrees, 12 is called 30 degrees, which means each Rashi has got 30 degrees. This is a one form of writing a Jyotish horoscope or chakra or Kalapurusha chakra. I'm showing this as a South Indian format. There are also East and North Indian I'll be taking in a minute, but just to give an idea. If this is the first house, if we divide this by 12, we got 12 houses. First house, second house, third house, and the 12th house. It basically goes in a clockwise, Savyadisi, right? Basically going in a clockwise direction. And each of these rishis have said, they gave a name. The first Rashi called in Sanskrit, called Mesha Rashi. And then next one is Vrishadha, Mithuna Rashi, Karkataka Rashi, Simha, Kanya, Tula, Vrishchika, Dhanush, Makara, and Kumbha. And lastly, we have Meena. So respectively, we have English names as well. Aries, Taurus, Gemini. You can read this because it's coming to you. The most important thing what we need to understand is each Rasi has got characteristics. I know I could not put all the essence of Jyotish here because it's just a starting point. Each Rasi was given a lordship, Adhipati. So, for example, Mesha Rashi is Mars, Kuja. Similarly, Vrishchika Rashi also Kuja, but he's got some other combinations called Lordoscope Ketu. So, similarly, each Graha has got a representation, lordship of Rashis. They have been defined very well. These are the foundational basic principles connecting to Sangeeta Shastra. I'll talk in a minute. And also, interestingly, we need to understand they have the Agni Tattva, fiery, and also Bhutattva. This is Vayu Tattva, and also this is called Jala Tattva. Means the Panchabhutas actually coming into these Rashis within the horoscope of all of us when we create this chart. But you may ask the question, okay, Rao Garu, what happened to Agni Tattva is there, Jala Tattva is there, Prithvi Tattva is there, and the Vayu Tattva is, what happened to Akasha Tattva? Akasha Tattva is basically combining together all of these. That's why when we see up sky, sky actually protects it, combines together, right? So that is where the Jupiter, Akasha, ether we call. We'll talk again more details in coming way. I want to just get this kind of initial foundation on how the swaras are connected to various elements, and also now how the Jyotish 360 degrees now created by 12 Rashis by Rishis. If you go to a little bit more deeper, they also talk about Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and also Sattvaguna. For Carnatic musician and or any practice of music, we must be in Sattvaguna most of the time, because the Rajoguna is also important if you need some energies to push. But these are the tattvas, gunas we have to understand and see how best we can use into the day-to-day activities of Sangeeta Shastra, practice and sadhana as well. We'll take a couple of minutes. And also some other things you can read later on. There are many characteristics. Maybe we're using some of them today. So if I go back and look at slightly different angle, if we are doing lots of activities and doing sadhanas, that is why we call Kendra Sthanas, which is basically the first house, fourth house, and seventh house, and 10th house. Just like the stool, remember we have 4-leg tool, which is very stable, which means anything we do practices today using these 4 Kendra Sthanas, the fruits will be given to us. That's what Jyotish Shastra says, which means in order to you to become a good astrologer, a Jyotisha, which means you have to have a purity in your speech. The speech is the second house, we say. And also, you should not be telling lies, should not be folding words with other people, not scolding anybody. The Suddhi is very, very critical. And also, when we practice Suddhi, means I follow the purity in my speech as an astrologer. Then the next level is Buddhi will come to the next level, which is basically the first to the fourth house. It goes into 4 kendras. Once we have this continued, then the vriddhi of expansion what? Expansion of Jyotish knowledge will come into flow. Similarly, once we continue these activities, then Siddhi, the achievement of knowledge, will be given to us. When I see this, I don't see this is different for Carnatic music. If the speech, Gatra Suddhi, that's what we call, right? Teachers always say Gatra Suddhi is important. Your audio has to be clear. You have to drink a lot of water. Why water? Because that is Jala Tattva, and Chandra is very, very important for learning Carnatic music. Chandra is nothing but Jala Tattva, water element as well. So which means the combination of these two are telling us Jyotish Shastra and the Sangeeta Shastra, we have to have Shuddhi of the speech. Then also then we can get the Buddhi, retaining this, Vriddhi is expansion, and also Siddhi is achievement. So this is very critical, which means all the practitioners of Carnatic music, teachers, practitioners, students, enthusiasts, whoever, we have to have the purity of the speech. The Gatra Suddhi is very, very critical. This is a very common point we have seen from these two. Now, if I go back and say the Kendra Sthanas where we do the activities, we perform, we put some efforts, The results and fruits are coming from the trikonas. What are the trikonas, Jyotish? First house, fifth house, ninth house. These are the Lakshmi sthanas. And Kendras are Vishnu sthanas, which means you work hard, you work continuously, do sadhanas, their fruits will be given by Lakshmi. That's what it is, 14159 combination, which is precisely fits to your Carnatic music as well. Now, let me take into a slightly different angle. And if I take the same Kalapurusha Chakra, horoscope of the people, we are also part of the Kalapurusha, we're instantiation of Bhagavan, right? That's why you had all the characteristics, maybe different magnitudes. So if I go and say, if I take the fiery sign, which is Agni Tattva, what are the rasis connected? Mesha Rashi is Agni Tattva, and also Simha also Agni Tattva, and also Dhanush is also Agni Tattva. Then you may ask me, Nemani Garu, what is the difference between Agni Tattva and 3 Rashis out of 12? We need to take a little deep dive. The Agni Tattva from Mesha Rashi, which is Aries, is Mars, and the Adhipati, or Lord of Simha Rashi, Leo, is Surya, and Adhipati of Dhanush is also Agni Tattva, is called Jupiter. Now the difference is very clear. Mars is the fiery element, Agni Tattva is at the highest level, it burns the things. That is why same Mars is also Adhipati for Scorpio, where it also have a co-lord of Ketu. Ketu means ashes, means burning into take to the next level of emancipation, end of journey, right? The fire is a very high temperature, burns it, various reasons. There are fantastic good reasons why we should pursue the Mars. At the same time, the difference between Simha Rashi is the lion, he's the king. The king also has a fire, but he uses for the purpose of the kingdom, citizens. It is sattvic in nature. That's why even though if you go into the sunlight and sit in the hot summer, we don't die. And most of the times, but sometimes I don't know. But so most of the times it is burns you, but it's got a skin tone, but we don't die because of sun. Sun has got the sattvic nature of that particular, as I said, sattva guna of the fire. Similarly, if you go to Sagittarius, who is the Adhipati Jupiter, which is Bruhaspati, means he also gives a fire. The fire is different fire because the wisdom, the knowledge fire is different than other two fires. So we need to understand these tattvas at each horoscope, the Rashi levels, then use this into Carnatic music. I'll show you an example so probably you'll get it, how to use this into Carnatic music as well. In the sense, how they're correlated, they're actually connected together by this process. So with that note, again, you can see the fiery elements are connected. Now I'll possibly close this. Fiery element, earth. Then similarly, you have airy, Vayu Tattva connected those triangles. And the last one is Jala Tattva connected. If you watch closely, I know I did not make a perfect, beautiful annotations. If somebody can do it in an artistic way, this is like a 12-petal lotus. 12-petal lotus. It's basically a lotus of giving a 12 rashis, all are connected. They're not disjoint. Similarly, in Swara Shastra, in the Sangeeta Shastra, all the swaras are so important, they're all connected with the Jyotish as well, we can see, right? With that note, I want to introduce to you maybe for some more foundations of Jyotish. Remember I said there are 12 houses. It is very important for us Carnatic musicians, practitioners and teachers and enthusiasts to understand the Sanskrit meaning of these words. I'll show you an example, probably you'll get it. The first house is called Tanu Bhava. Tanu means me, my body, as you can read all those things on the right-hand side. Kutumba is family, right? And Sahodara is basically the siblings. Sukha is the fourth house. And Putra Bhava is, Putra is taken as a Putra, means both girl and, the daughter and boys, the children of the fifth house will be coming from. Roga Bhava, Kama Bhava, Ayush Bhava, Dharma Bhava, Karma Bhava, Labha Bhava. Look at this. They're all self-explanatory. We don't need unless you have a foundational understanding. I think most importantly, we are so lucky. The Sanskrit is originated from many of our languages. Our languages are derived from it. So it's most of the time they're all same, right? Again, it's impossible for me to write all the details of the houses in one page just to give you a high level, because just imagine the horoscope for each bhava could be hundreds of combinations for each of them, right? So we talked about the various other things. Now I wanted to stitch together those pieces now into Swarasthanas and Rashi mapping. If you go back for last 5 minutes, we said Sapta Swaras are there. Sapta Swaras has got Sapta Grahas. They have various attributes and Karakatvas. And we have 12 Rashis, Dwadasa Rashis, but we have 16 Swarasthanas, right? Now we're trying to map them. So I created a mapping mechanism here. I said the first Rashi is Mesha Rashi, and it is actually mapped to Sa Swara, which is basically Shadjam. That is why, for the sake of, the spellings in English could be written slightly different way. It might give a wrong notations. I'm using the Devanagari language as well. Just follow those. Shadjam, right? Sakaram. Similarly, if you look at the Taurus, this has got the Ra Swara, has got three variations, R1, R2, and 3, R3. What are those? Suddharashabham, Chatusruti Rishabham, and Shatshruti Rishabham as well. So those are the three rasis that are the Rakaram, the variations mapped to Vrishabha Rashi, Mithuna Rashi, and Karkataka Rashi. So this mapping is very, very critical for us, because this is how I'm going to show you when we pick up a particular Melakarta Raga, what is the horoscope of that we can construct, right? So similarly, if you go to the Gakaram, we have G1, G2, and G3. So those are basically Suddha Gandharam and Sadharana Gandharam and Antara Gandharam. Hope it is making sense to you. And also they map to a particular Rashis as well. Now, if you look at the Ma Swara, Makaram M1, M2, we have Suddha Madhyamam and Prati Madhyamam. So similarly, we have Panchamam. There is no variation, just like Sakaram. The Sa and Pa, they're simple, very straightforward, pure. That's why they don't have variation for that. We'll talk about this in more in a Jyotish perspective in a minute. Now, maybe let me clear this so that you can see the reminder easily. So we covered all those. Now the Swara Da, D1 and D2 and D3, if you look at those through, Suddha Daivatam, Chatusruti Daivatam, Shatshruti Daivatam. Those are three mapped to Dhanush Rashi, Makara Rashi, and Kumbha Rashi. So beautiful. I'll tell you, when we churn this from the samundar, the oceans, you'll see the nectar coming out. Similarly, the Swara Na has got N1, N2, N3. They were mapped to Suddha Nishadam, Kaishiki Nishadam, and Kakara Nishadam as well. So that is how I was able to map this framework for us to use. Seven Sapta Swaras, Sapta Grahas, and 12 Rashis for my astrology, and 16 Shodasha Swarasthanas. That's the kind of framework. Maybe I would say, if you got a minute, please take a picture of this particular slide, even though I'm sending all of them later for you, because we'll be using this extensively in the exercises I'm going to show you in a minute. With that note, let's go to, for this particular topic for presentation today, I'm taking a 72 Melakartragas. There are some variations, trust me. Everything we have in Vedanga is always good challenge for us to see variations. But today we'll take in 72 Melakartragas. And fundamentally, they were divided into two categories, which is 72 divided by 2 is 36 Suddha Madhyama Ragas. And the other one is, we'll talk about in a minute. If you take these 36 Suddha Madhyama Ragas, they were again divided into 6 groups. They call chakras. 6 groups. How did they do it? 6 times 6 is 36, means each chakra has got 6 swaras have been defined. Right? This is beautiful. So lots of good mathematics. I will show you how exactly they will map into astrology in a minute, Jyotish as well. So if you look at the moon, it's called Indu Chakra. Why we call Indu Chakra? Just imagine. Indu is basically, in Sanskrit, is called Chandra, right? So that is why they gave, the rishis are given Indu Chakra. Then we have Netra Chakra. What are the netras we have? Netra Dvayam. We have 2 eyes, sun and moon. That is why Netra Dvayam. There are Agni Chakra. The Agni Chakras, I'll read it for you because you may have everything in one place. So bear with me, because I want to give this the right indicators of these chakras. You may find it maybe repetitive if you already know, but bear with me. Agni Chakra, there are various annotations out there. One particular Agni Chakra I thought is very relevant for this particular discussion today. There are 3 of them. The first one is called Jataragni, second is Badabagni, and third is Davagni. What are these Agnis? Jataragni is the Agni is in our body, helps for digestion, completely burning everything into energies. What we eat, my gosh, the poor fellow Jataragni works 24/7. If you eat, you're eating more, which it has to work more, right? So Jataragni is the purpose of this burning, creating energies from your stomach. If somebody has got a problem with digestion problems, Agni Chakra is the solution for you. We'll talk about this. How do we use this? Bhadabagni is the one which is basically the fire under the oceans, huge oceans. They explode. Volcanic eruptions takes place. That's also by the nature. And Davagni is the one actually the fire takes place in jungles, forests. Why it happens? If you remember, these forests conducted by the nature because they'd have to burn the oceans or the forests and create the ashes. So the new generation, the new life has to take place. Everything is God. That is why Ketu, as I mentioned before, Agni Tattva, Ketu is made to ashes, means Bhashma. That's why Ketu is Bhashma, is the emancipation process, right? Similarly, if you go to the Veda chakras, we all know all the Vedas, the four Vedas, Rig Vedamu, Yajur Vedamu, Sama Vedamu, Atharvana Vedamu. And also, if you look at the Bana chakra, this is where the Manmadha has got 5 flowers. The names Aravindamu, Ashokamu, Chutamu, Navamallika, Nilotpala. These are the 5 flowers he uses as arrows to create Kamakriya with us, to create some desires, right? Kamakriya is, I want this television, I want this car, I want this, I want that. Those are the generation of this. They're coming from the banas, the arrows from our what do you call? These are the banas from the coming from those particular manmada. Then the next one is called ritu chakras. We all know the ritus. There are 6 ritus, right? So ritus are Vasanta ritu, Grishma ritu, Varsha ritu. Then we have Sarad ritu. Then we have Hemant ritu. We have Sisira ritu. There are 6 ritus connected to this particular chakra. Now, if you look at the 6 by 6, we got 36. These are part of the first category of 36 Suddha Madhyama Ragas. So, if you go to the next category, which Vagyakarika has given to us, which is falling into 36 Prati Madhyama Ragas, they have the same mapping, but chakras got a different meaning. First one is called Rishi Chakra. How many rishis we have? We have Sapta rishis. We all actually taken a birth, the lineage of these Sapta rishis only. Every one of us has got a connection there. So identifying your rishi is very important to understand what is the rishi chakras. Rishi chakras, if you look at the rishis, Kasyapa, Atri, Bharadwaja, Vishwamitra, Gautama, Jamadagni, Vasishta. Identify your rishis and see if you wanted to activate your rishi lineage, take those ragas and rishi chakra. Somebody says, I belongs to, say, Vasista, maybe Pavani is my raga. Maybe I should maybe take a deeper dive into Pavani. Perfect match. So think on those lines. Similarly, the next one is called Vasu chakra. How many Vasus we have? Asta Vasus, right? And what are those names? The Asta Vasus goes by Anala, Anila, Pratyusha, Prabhasha, Drona, Soma, Advara, Dhruva. So those are the Astavasus. If you wanted to have the Astadiks and also other things, use them. Next one is called Brahma Chakra. There are 9 Brahmas, we call Nava Brahmas, Marichi, Atri, Pulascha, Pulaha, Kratu, Daksha, Angirasa, Bhrugu. Then we have Vasista. These are the Nava Brahmas. So Nava Brahmas is given 6 particular ragas. If you want to activate them, say pick up Ramapriya. Ramapriya Raga may be good for one of these rishis for you, Brahmas for you, and identify and do the sadhana of that particular one. Similarly, we have dishas. Remember, we have the directional strengths. We have 10 of them, right? Dasa disas. Who are these Dasa disa devatas? Indra, Agni, Yama, Niruti, Varuna, Vama, Kubera, Isanya, Antariksha, Prithvi. These are the 10 directional devatas given these 6 Melakartragas as well. Phenomenal work has been given by these rishis to us, right? Our Vagyakarkas. Similarly, we have 11 Rudras: Siva, Sambhu, Pinaki, Girisha, Hara, Sthanu, Bharga, Bhairava, Sadasiva, Kapali, Iswara. These are the Rudras. Remember, we do Ekadas Rudrabhishekam sometimes in the Siva temples. This is what they invoke. And if you remember, they also say Sangeetam. Then somebody actually plays these Melakarta ragas as well. If you watch carefully, you'll notice this how they're all connected in the temples, right? So maybe somebody is doing a major kalyani because they want to activate one of the rudras on that particular auspicious day. And the last one in this category was Aditya Chakras. How many Adityas we have? We have 12 Adityas called Dwadasa Adityas. What are those? Mitra, Aryama, Twashta, Data, Vivashwan, Aruna, Bhaga, Ansuman, Indra, Parjanya, Vishnu, Pusha. These are the 12 Adityas. If you notice something, I've taken extra efforts to say these names because by saying these names in Sanskrit itself is a powerful message for us. You're invoking these devatas. Please help us to get these Melakarta ragas to understand it in more detail. The same thing we do in Jyotish as well. This is beauty, right? So now we went into various segmentation, identified the mapping processes, and connecting one by one. Let's connect furthermore. So these Suddha Madhyama ragas, what I've done was I've taken them and connected to a particular graha. If you noticed it, those 36, we already talked about it. So this particular one starts with the Ketu because emancipation process, Agni Tattva, fire element is start. And also in Jyotish, this is the Vimshotri Dasha starts from Ketu as the guidelines given by Maharshi Parashara. So I'm taking that. So if you look at this, Ketu, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mars, Rahu completed the Hindu Chakra. Then they went into the second half of it as Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury. So which means 9 grahas, 9 planets taking 1.5 chakras here, 6 plus 3. Then they repeat. See this? Ketu, Venus, Sun goes back. So basically 9 plus 9, 18. 2 times these grahas actually map to first 3 chakras of Melakarta ragas. How beautiful, right? Now, we'll repeat the same thing again, Ketu, and repeat again, say. So if you look at the mathematics behind the scenes, which Vagayakarakas as well as Rishis are thinking, maybe they're sitting together. They may be designing this, and we are looking at today. There's 9 times 2, that is 9 grahas twice, is 18, which is the first row. And second row is another 18, basically 36. So this is the first 36 Suddha Madhyama ragas. The same thing repeats here. But you will notice there's one thing, a secret was revealed here to us by the rishis. They said, if you go to the Ketu as a starting point in the Suddha Madhyama ragas, but if you notice carefully, in the Prati Madhyama ragas, Ketu at the end, and Mercury is the starting point. See this? It means reverse. I'll actually keep this pointer in your side note. I'll tell you why this was given by the rishis to us. Keep in mind, because this is very critical for us to understand. This is called Utkilakam, the key, the secret, right? So we need to find out. Again, repeats, Mercury to backward direction. We have again 9 times 2, 18, 18 times 2, 36, 36, 36 plus 36 comes to 72, which means we covered those 72 Melakarta ragas into 6 groups and 12 groups and also planets. The mapping is completed now. So far, so good, I hope, right? Keep your notes on this. We'll use all these knowledge base when we take an example. Now, the last thing I want to do before we go for taking much more deeper, remember we said these are the chakras we talked about in Melakarta ragas, Indu Chakra to Aditya Chakra. We talked extensively. Similarly, we talked about Sanskrit names for the Jyotish, Rashi Chakra, Hora Chakra, Drakana Chakra, Chatushthamsha, Panchamamsha, Sastamsha, Saptamamsha, Astamsha, Navamsha, Dashamsha, Rudramsha, Dvadasamsha. If you watch closely, they are 100% matched together. They're combined. The rishis are actually sitting in the same place and designing in a forest, maybe one of those fantastic forests near Himalayas, maybe, right? They said, okay, Jyotish has to be like this, and Sangeeta Shastra has to be like this. They have to be tied together. This is exactly what it is. And also talk about Jyotish Shastra. These are the various parts of the life they'll be used. And they'll be used actually. We'll see some examples how they're connected as well. So that is basically the topic for today, as I said, connecting these shastras and see what is the message we are trying to get from this, right? With that note, let me go back and clear this. Now, the foundational question came to my mind when I was doing the research was, maybe I should not say research, maybe discovery, because what do I do research on this? This is rishis are given to us, right? So maybe I should say discovery for myself. Well, these 72 Melakarta ragas are there. First of all, how did they get names? How did they got the numbers? I was kind of looking at it and said, what are those intricacies maybe? So then I went into one of the examples and says, okay, let me take Kanakangi. Kanakangi, if you take the syllables in a Sanskrit minor, ka and na, and if I use a method by the astrology students given by Jaimini Maharshi, he said use Katapayadi system. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I thought the Katapayadi system is exclusively for Jyotish. When I was doing this research on Melakarta ragas, my guess is wrong. I thought Kanakangi is also used by Melakarta ragas, and they said they've taken Ka and Na using Katapayadi system, and they gave a number 1 and 0. And of course, Jaimini Maharshi always says reverse it. So it becomes 0, 1. So which means Kanakangi is 0, 1 derived by the Katapayadi system, which is a very common thread between Jyotish Shastra as well as Sangeeta Shastra. This is another example, right? Similarly, if I take another example of Dhira Shankarabharanam, remember there's a movie in 1980s earliest, I think, Shankarabharanam. Wow, what a popular movie. I was in college those days. Such a fantastic movie. And I said, where is the Shankarabharanam? When looking at 72 Melakarta ragas, Shankarabharanam is not existing in the list. I said, wow, what happened? I thought this was one of the best ragas, right? But they connected to say Dhira Shankarabharanam. Rishis use Dhira Shankarabharanam to get the number of Dhi and Ra. These for 9 and 2 for Ra, and they reverse it from using Katapayadi system, became 29. If you don't use this, Shankarabharanam cannot take place because Shankarabharanam is a different number that is already taken by the rishis in the configuration of these as well. So understand the ragas has got a sequence 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 72. There is a science behind this. The science is used using the Katapayadi system. If you're not familiar with this, talk to me or talk to your teacher, pick up a book on Katapayadi system. It's easy to understand. Means you can decode lots of secrets in the Vedic system as well, which I use quite a bit in astrology. So having said that, let's go and take another deep dive. So this is again a Kalapurusha chakra. For a different purpose, I wrote in a slightly different manner. As you can see, the Rashis are Cancer, Gemini, they're going in this direction. And the Leo and Libra, Scorpio, and Capricorn go in this direction. Why? Because I wanted to show you the Cancer is the Jalatattva Rashi, which is basically the Lord is Moon. Similarly, Gemini and Virgo ruled by Mercury, as I said before. Just I'm trying to bring one more time, recap. Similarly, Venus is Lord for both Taurus as well as Libra, and Aries is for Mars as well as Scorpio. Jupiter, same thing, Saturn is for Aquarius and this. Very simple. Now looking at this, how these are all actually mapped into Jyotish to the Carnatic music. If you look at this carefully, if you remember the mapping I said to take a picture of this, the Cancer is called Sadharana Gandharam, the Swarasthana. And also Leo, I said Antar Gandharam. So what is the common thing between these two? Gandharam is the common, right? So Gandharam is nothing but Gakaram is basically Gandharva Ganam. Gandharva Ganam is coming from Cancer and Leo. That's what this Jyotish is telling to us. Gandharva Ganam is nothing but coming from Cancer and Leo, which is Moon and Sun. That is where Dvi, Netra Chakra we have. Remember Sun and Moon we talked about a few minutes ago. I said, okay, what else? Then I said, oh, look at this Mother Durga is coming. Saptasiddhis, they have phenomenal amount of depiction was talked about, various ragas, various Jyotish chakras as well. Then I said, how this is connected here? If you look at this Chandra Adipati is from Cancer, Chandra mother is basically Moon, and also Leo's Adipati is Lion is basically Adipati Surya. So that is why we call Simha Vahini. She's actually sitting and riding the lion, Simha Vahini. Simha is Leo, Vahini is other. Who is Moon? Moon is nothing but mother. So looking at all these aspects, it's very clear to us that we are getting a blessing directly from the Simha Vahini today, saying, folks, I think you've seen me, that's good enough. So this is the connection between Jyotish Shastra with Sangeeta Shastra. There are so many. Who are the celestial singers? Narada, Tumbura, these are the Gandharva Ganas, right? If you wanted to get to that level, we need to catch hold of Gandharvas, which I talked about in slide number 4. We'll go back sometime and see how to invoke this Gandharva. How do you get Gandharva Tattva in your voice to perfection? This is already there with you in the Carnatic music. We need to identify and just invoke them. I'll show you maybe some methods in a minute. So this is what it is now. If we go back to compile all these things and combine into much more structure, I want to take a couple more deep dives. And Priya Garu, how are we doing with the time? Are we good?
Yes, we're good. It's 10:50.
Perfect. So now I need to also get a little water. Moon Jala Tattva is important. So getting back to the deep dives in few ragas, I think just I'm bringing those just to recap point of view. Look at this. I've also made annotation of Aries, Mesharashi, the Sanskrit and English name, just to recap one more time. I'll be using this in a second. If you look at the Muthuswami Dikshitar, very famous Navagraha Kritis, right? All of you know, you have done and you've listened to this, practicing this. Now let me take a journey to you. Muthuswami Dikshitar was using the Swarasa and for the activating the planet sun. In the particular Kriti, he says, Simha Rasyadhipate. This is basically Simha Rasyadhipate. If you look at Sanskrit, Simha Rasi Adhipati. The 3 words, if you put in the Savarnadirgha Sandhi, the grammar, it becomes Simha Rasyadhipate. You know how to sing because I'm not a Carnatic music practitioner. So what is the essence is, Muthuswami Dikshitar actually in the Navagraha Kritis is saying Surya Bhagavan. He's saying you are the Simha Rashi Adhipati. What is Simha Rashi? Is Leo. Adhipati we already talked about 15 minutes ago, Sun. So Muthuswami Dikshitar is saying, I know Jyotish and you understand Jyotish, listen to this, pray to this using Navagraha Kriti of Surya Bhagavan. Surya Murte, that is what is an example, right? Similarly, Chandra Tara Sutam. It's basically Chandra Tara. Sutam is basically Mercury. That's what I think we know. We have in the Puranas, we have a lot of stories how the Mercury was born between Chandra and Tara Devi. That's an example he's giving directly from Jyotish point of view as well. And also he says Neela Ratna Bhushana Alankrutam. Neela Ratna Bhusha Alankrutam. Alankrutam is decoration. Bhushana is Abhushanas, wearing it. Neela Ratnam is blue sapphire. So he's activating blue sapphire from a Jyotish perspective, which we know from astrology. Saturn is the Adhipati for that. So it's a very straight relation between Jyotish and Sangeeta Shastra as well. Similarly, if you look at Venus, Vrishabha Tula Adisha. Vrishabha Tula Adisha. Again, go back to our example here. What is Vrishabha Rashi? As we've seen before, Vrishabha is Venus and Tula is also Venus. That's what Muthuswami Dikshitar was saying. Venus is Libra. Venus is basically Adhipati of Vrishabha and Tula. That's what he's saying, which means he's bringing the Jyotish right away into this Melkat Raga using this as well. Similarly, he has extensively went a little bit deeper. I want to give maybe one more minute on this. He says, Sukra, he says, Navamsha, Hora, Drekkana, Vargottama Vasara. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of Jyotish was given here. I know maybe lack of time. I'll quickly run this and go for next. He says, using the chakras which we talked before, Navamsha Chakra, Hora Chakra, Drekkana Chakra. What are those? If you go here, the Navamsha is, this is what we call Brahma Chakra. Talks about wife, dharma, relationship. And also Hora Chakra is basically talks about family. And also Drekkana is talking about siblings. If we take the essence of this, which are all represented by Sukra, that is what Muthuswami Dikshitar is giving a message and say, Venus is important. If you wanted to have a nice family and kutumba, listen to this particular raga from Navagraha Kritis. And if you want to have the Karmasthana to be very important, use Saturn. Particular Navagraha Kriti as well. So that's the message maybe we can just depict from this particular one. Similarly, if you go to the next one, Rohini Priyakara Chaturam. That's what he said. Rohini Priyakara Chaturam. Of course, moon has got 27 nakshatras as wives from Daksha Prajapati. And one of the wives is Rohini. He likes Rohini. He loves Rohini. That's why he get exalted in Rohini Nakshatra. That's what I think Muthuswami Dikshita is saying here. Moon is Rohini Priyakaram, right? If somebody wanted to have importance in the moon in the horoscope, this is the Navagraha Kriti. They need to listen and continue this one as well. Similarly, Kuja is talking about Mesha Vrishchika Radhyatpadi. As I already talked about, this is Mesha Rashi, Vrishchika Rashi, and also Jupiter, Dhanur and Meena Adhipati. Again, Dhanur, Dhanush Rashi, and Meena Rashi is Adhipati, Jupiter. Unbelievably, this Muthuswami Dikshita is a phenomenal astrologer and also Vagaya Karaka. He's combining these together, and I was fortunate to discover this and sharing with you today. And as I said, I don't know anything about Carnatic music, right? Similarly, remember I said one secret I will reveal to you today? Rahu Graha, he says, Gomedhika Bharanam. Gomedha is a gemstone. For Rahu, Abharanam is talking about. Perfectly good. And he says for Ketu, says Kona Dvajapatakinam Graha Apasavya. See this? I mean, if you read the English, I'm reading in Telugu and English, both languages. Kona is triangular, Dvaja is a flag, Patakinam is the rulership or the kingdoms. So anytime you see a administration building, you have the flag. The flag is Ketu, which means if you have some struggles with the administration, law, administration problems, catch hold of Ketu. That's what it is saying. And also he says, Graha Apasavya. This is very critical. Means all the grahas go in a savya means clockwise. Rahu and Ketu only goes in apasavya, anti-clockwise. That is the reason why, remember I told you, the 36 category, second category, I said apasavya. We used apasavya because of Muthuswami Dikshita indicating that Ketu is apasavya, Rahu is apasavya. For the second block, we have to use apasavya of those grahas as well. Maybe you may have got the idea how we are stitching together these connections between these two. Now, I wanted to re-emphasize one of the things before I go. The Veda Angas has got a very specific subjects like phonetics, grammar, rhythm, etymology, astronomy, and rituals, as I said, but is most important for you as a Carnatic music practitioner. If you don't understand these meanings of these words, you cannot really feel the bhavam. That is why I feel I've studied this because I want to understand Jyotish. Shabda Manjari, phenomenal Nighantu, they call. Every word is defined there. Understand this. Rohini Priyakaram. Rohini Priyakara. The Priyakara will be defined in Shabda Manjari. What is Priyakara means, right? Similarly, Graha Apasavya. Things will be there. So this is like a dictionary of words we have to understand. And also important for you to really, if you want to excel, I would say go for the Vyakarana. The Vyakarana is nothing but the grammar of Sanskrit. So these are very important for you to really succeed and go forward to understand each kriti, the bhavam. I'll show you an example. So this will be very helpful for you. Just consider if you want to get those books, purchase them and practice them, understand them, etc. Talk to your teacher. Maybe I should leave there. Now, coming back to the, again, I'm bringing back to show you, if you go to the Muthuswami Dikshita, the Panchakritis, if you look at Panchakritis, he talked about 5 devatas, right? Each devata has got an importance in his point of view. That's why Panchakritis become so popular, isn't it? Every practitioner will recite this. Ganesha is basically Varnapriya. If you go back to the mapping I've given you, you will see very quickly Ganesha is Varnapriya, Meenakshi is Gamanasrama, Kamalamba and Kartikeya and Ranganatha. They were actually taken Janyam of the Smelkat Ragas. He has not taken directly. This is where the additional experimentation was started by Muthuswami Dikshita plus other Vagaya Karakas. So this will open up another opportunity for us to talk more, maybe next session. What are those Janyams? Why they're actually going beyond 72 Ragas? I'll tell you reasons why astrologically as well, maybe that time. Similarly, these are the grahas connected to this. But you may ask a question. Kartikeya is Murugan. Murugan is nothing but Mars. Kujagraha. Rao Garu, why are you saying Ketu? That's a very good question. I know you expect this question, but the answer is, remember I mentioned to you before, Ketu Grahas for the Mesha Rashi and Vrishchika Rashi. Ketu Graha is the end. It's basically Bhashma, the ashes. So you take that heat of the Mars to Ketu. We can interchange these logically. That is how the grouping was done by Muthuswami Dikshita, right? So think on those lines. Probably you'll get more insights. And also Ranganayaka Bhave. This is Ranganatha, is moon. Ranganatha, anything action, anything people is Chandra. That's what I think Muthuswami Dikshita is actually talking about this as well. Similarly, if you go to the Panch Ratna Kritis, similar mapping I've done for you. I think, the pudding is there, now you need to eat this, basically. Look at this, and what are this? Jagadananda Karaka, right? Jagadananda Karaka. As I said, I'm not a good singer, but what I've seen in the movies and other things, Jagat Ananda Karaka, the three words coming in. Jagat Ananda Karaka. Jagat is the universe. Ananda is giving the happiness. Who does this other than Bhagavan? That is why Mercury is like a child. Child want everybody to be happy, always laughing, always smiling. That's why Mercury was connected with this particular. The Melakat Raga is called Chalanata, right? Similarly, you have Endaro Mahanubhavulu. Endaro Mahanubhavulu means what? Endaro, there are too many people. The moment we have more people, Chandra plays a significant role. For all of you as a Carnatic Sangeeta students, practitioners, and teachers, moon is critical. Without moon, we cannot achieve the at least highest levels. So that's why Endaro Mahanubhavulu, that is Karahara Priya, is ragam chosen by Tyagaraja Swamvaru, right? So taking those pointers back into your action, maybe you may find something interesting, right? With that note, how many of you seen this? Maybe many of you know that, right? When you go to the temple, you say, okay, Amma wants to take me to the temple, the coconut and bananas and agarbattis and camphor, right? We all do this. At least when I used to be a kid in India, now we also do in USA as well. So why do we do this? Because we have to activate the panchatattvas. Everything is got to five elements, right? That's why when you offer the naivedyam, what we say, pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, samanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha. We offer this 5 times to the God, Bhagavan. So we're activating those with respect to planets as well, as you can see. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter. They're all connected, as I explained to you before, various elements. If you look at, see, Mercury is Prithvi Tattva. What is coming from Prithvi is bananas. What is Jala Tattva? Jala Tattva is coconut. What is Agni Tattva? Is the camphor. What is Vayu Tattva? Is the agarbatti. And what is Akasha Tattva? Is flowers. That is why flowers are very critical for us to have the Akasha Tattva binding in the family. If there's disturbances in the family and people are not talking to each other, everybody's on the cell phones, flowers are missing, Akasha Tattva is missing. Activate Vyana. That is why he said the Sabda, sound is there. Also, that gives intelligence for the people to use. Maybe I should not use the cell phone so much time. Maybe I should reduce it. The intelligence will be coming back by the Apan Vyaya to Vyana Vayu. Similarly, I think you can read this later on. I gave very specific examples on pranavayu is from a body standpoint, the constitution point of view. It governs the intoxication, take the oxygen, remove the intoxication processes. It governs the heart, lungs, and respiratory system. Guess what? If somebody is not able to having a lung power for doing a particular, what shall I say, a ceremony in the Melakarta Ragas, the lung power is not there for this particular practitioner student, they should go back to the pranavayu and do. That's why Gurudev always says, yoga is important, pranayama is important, right? The prana is coming from this. Also, you can activate Prithvi Tattva, Mercury. What is the raga? Find out from the list. I already talked about it. Go to the Mercury ragas. There are 4 ragas already for you. It's there for you to use it, right? So this is how maybe you can take a look at the other 5 elements of this, and how do we use this is very, very important for us. I know, I think I talked a lot. Now I have, how much time I have, Priyaji? Do I have another 10-15 minutes, Priyaji?
We can go on. No
Okay,
problem.
let me get some Jalatattva and we'll continue.
Yes, yes.
Now I want to take a deep dive. I know there are 72 Melkat Ragas. I don't think we can do today. Maybe we'll take one or two or maybe three. So the first one I want to take a Keravani Raga. Keravani Raga, as you can see, the Arohana and Avarohana was there. And also I put some, the piano musical notes just for easily understanding people like me. Then also what I did, I have requested, because as I said, I'm not a Wagye Karaka, I'm not a, the Carnatic music practitioner. So my audio is not good at all, zero. So that's why I requested one of our, the World Forum for Art and Culture member and maybe Art of Living group member. She was so kind to give her audio today.
Keeravani Raga.
Bear with me. Technology, a little bit.
Keeravani Ragam. Shadjamam. Chatushruti Rishabham. Sadharana Gandharam. Shuddha Madhyamam. Panchamam. Shuddha Daivatam. Kakali Nishadam. Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa.
Fantastic, isn't it? That is the Keravani Ragam by Miss A. Mathuri Manoja. Thank you, Amma, for your audio and helping us today. So if you look at the Keravani, the Kiram is called parrot in Sanskritam, and Vani is a voice, Raga, right? Keravani. It's very straightforward. If you look at, again, I put some pictures up there. Sukha Maharshi was very wise person, Brahmajnani, he's a son of Veda Vyasa, and also he has contributed tremendous amount of work in the Bhagavatam, right? So also they depicted him as a parrot-faced Maharishi, right? And also he's a Paramukta stage. And we can ask a question like, what are these stages, right? So there are 5 stages. Everything, in my opinion, Jyotish and all the connected as Panchabhutas, Panchatatvas, everything is 5, right? So there are 5 levels of human beings. We take birth in this planet Earth, right? Or maybe different lokas as well. So they're all Samanya, Sadhaka, Siddha, Jivan Mukta, and Paramukta. The 5 stages. They're all goes next. Highest level is Paramukta. So Sukha Maharshi is a Paramukta stage. Very, very intelligent, humanly, very highest level in order to get to Devatas, right? That's the reason why he has taken a birth. That's a different story. Maybe we'll talk later on. So Sukha Maharshi is basically the parrot-faced, and parrots has got very importance in this. That's why we call Keravani. And Muthuswami Dikshitar Garu, he called this Keravani as Kiranavali, right? Why Kiranavali? Maybe he's thinking about Deepavali. Deepavali is like Avali means the rose of lights. Maybe he's thinking, okay, this is a sequence of lights of the raga, the swaras goes into light. Maybe he's giving some kind of a light emission from this process. We'll talk about it in a minute. That's what Muthuswami Dikshita was thinking. Next, if you look at the Tyagaraja Swami Varu, he composed a kriti, maybe a kirtana called Kaligiyunte Kada Galgunu Kamita Phaladayaka. This is in Telugu. Maybe I'll translate this. Again, remember, we have to divide these words so to understand. Kalgi Kada. Kalgi is combination of 2 words. Kaligi Unte means if I have this destiny, then I will get it, right? That's what he's saying. Kaligi Unte Kada Kalgunu Kamita Phaladayaka. Kamita means desires. Phala means the results, I'll get it. Which means he's saying, Rama, maybe I've done something in the past life. Maybe something I did good in the past life. Maybe I've done this in the Purva Punya. That is why maybe I may get this, right? Are you thinking the same way, Rama? Am I getting this? He's expressing that Kaligi Yunte Kada Kalgunu, Kamita Paladayaka, using Kiravani Raga. Such a soft, beautiful raga. And also, what I did was for you to understand, based on the mapping framework I gave earlier, I've created a horoscope for Kiravani Raga. Just like you and me, this is the horoscope for Kiravani Raga. And also for the sake of my colleagues, my friends, maybe using a different style of horoscopes. The left one is the South Indian format, the middle one is a North Indian format, and the last one is Eastern format. It's easy to understand, right? Because when I was learning Jyotish 25 years ago, my mind cannot take any other format because I'm depicted for this. So I thought, when I had encountered, why don't I give this to everybody, right? So if you look at this, these are the Tyagaraja Swami were saying, Kalgiyunte kada kalgunu kamita phaladayaka, right? Which means if I put those based on the mapping I explained to you before, the swara sa is here, and re is here, gai is here, ma is here, pa is here. So there are some holes, as you can see. If I can put this bar into up, maybe. Sorry about that. I can see the menu option below. So these are the swarasthanas placed into the 12 horoscope zodiac, 12 rashis. Now, if you look at carefully, he's saying Kalgi unte kada galgunu. So he's talking about the second house is empty here, and fifth house is empty here, seventh house is empty here, 10th house is empty here, 11th house is empty here. This is where the secret you already know. Remember the expression, what should I say? The true meaning of music lies not in the swaras and notes, but in the silence in between them. The silence is the key. That is why, if we take an example of flute, we close those particular swaras, the swaras, that's where it is stopping it, the sound is coming elsewhere. The similar principle applied in Jyotish, wherever these swaras are not mapped, that is where Muthuswami Diksha, Tyagaraja Brahma was saying, this is where the phala, the fruits will be coming for you from a horoscope, astrological point of view. Which means, if you look at what are those pending here, the first one, maybe let me start a little bit easier. Second house is basically family. The family is basically the parrot. That is why Keravani is connected to the second house right away. And Purva Punya, if I don't have the Purva Punya, which is basically fifth house, see, empty, it is coming out. Which means if I don't have Purva Punya, Lord Rama, how can you give things to me? Maybe I've done something. That's why maybe you're going to give me something. That's what he's like, having a conversation with the Lord Rama. Similarly, seventh house is also empty. As I said, the swaras actually empty is the messages, the meaning coming out from this particular raga, or any raga rather. He says seventh house is marriage, parrot, again coming back and say, oh my gosh, Kiravani is coming from the seventh house one more time here. Similarly, 10th house is for the karmasthana, destiny. He's saying, Kaligiyunte kada kalgunu. What is Kaligiyunte kada? Previous life karma, if you have done something good, only I'll get in this life, right? Rama, can you give me that? That is what is 10th house, karma is connecting it. Phaladayaka, any phala, any results in Jyotish we call 11th house. If you go back to this table I given. So he's saying, I will only get the phalita if I have done something good, Rama. Do you think I've done good, Rama? Can you please be graceful on me? Can you give me the knowledge? Can you give me the darshana to you, Rama? He's interested to see darshana of Rama. That's what he's actually explaining in this. Kaligiyunte kada kalgunu. Kamita Faladayaka. Na Kama is my Faladayaka, means I want to see you. I want to have a darshan of you, Rama. Please give me. That is an expression of bhava coming from Tyagaraja Swami Varu, and also which is exactly matching with our astrology as well. It's just an example, right? So try to understand each horoscope has very much connected to each Melkartaraga. And if you pick up any of those kritis, kirtanas from all these 500, 600, we can create a book of astrological reasoning of this. It's going to be a phenomenal work. Maybe we'll do sometime, right? Next, let's go to the other one. This is called Chakravakam. Again, as you know, the Arohana and Avarohana, which you already know, and also a tool which I use to get this piano as well for easy to understand. Similarly, this time I have requested Miss Soumya Muralidharan Garu. She has recited this for us.
Chakravakam, Sajjam, Shuddha Rishabam, Antaragantaram, Shuddha Madhyamam, Panchamam, Chatushruti Daivatam, Kaishiki Nishadam, Sajj. Sari Gama Padhani Sa Ni Da Pa Ma Ga Re Sa.
Isn't it beautiful? Thank you, Amma. Soumya Muralidharan. You did a great job in giving your audio to us. Thank you. So if you look at this, those are the birds. I think you must have seen Chakravakam birds. They're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful birds. They always go in pair. They're not separated, but they do separate sometimes for a reason given by the Devatas, I think. So if you look at the name Chakravakam, chakra, what it comes to my mind is always cyclical, to a circular fashion, right? And it's the name of the bird we already know, which was mentioned many times in Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata. They talked about this bird. I said, why this bird is so important? The importance comes into mind because this is the bird actually can fly at a very great heights, right? And also it drinks water unbelievably just from the rain. Unbelievable. I mean, maybe it may be drinking also, but looking at the Akasha Tattva, the ether, and drinking the water as well. So this tells you a couple of things very quickly. When it goes to the great height, means that this particular Chakravakam has got a swarasthanas at the highest level. Just imagine. Means that the person who is singing it has to have a solid lung power, solid swarasthana practice, very highest level as well. That is why it is called greater heights. Drinks of water at very specific, very focused. And also it tells me this raga supports anyone to stand on their feet, prove their virtue, and discover the purpose of their life. They always think about these, the wonderful birds, right? So this is also coming from astrology to Melakarta Raga's point of view. It says most of the time they're together, but sometimes they get separated by design, by the God, I guess. In the time they're separated, they actually sing, akrosha, it's called basically viraha tapana. They yell and shout and say, where are you? I'm here. What are you doing? When can we meet? The conversation goes in a emotional manner. That is why I wrote a word called akrosha viraha tapana, Sanskrit word. Try to understand that one. So which means Muthuswami Dikshitar used this Chakravakam Ragam as Toya Vega Vahini. Remember Toya Vega Vahini? Also in Hindustani we call Ahir Bhairav also, right? So Toya Vega Vahini. Again, as I said, remember the Sabda Manjari? Toya Vega Vahini. Toya is water, Vega is high speed, Vahini is flow. So this particular Chakravakam is, if you look at and listen to it, it's like a fast moving water. Because whenever I want to go to meditation, like, I think you all have a Bengaluru, a beautiful center where you have lots of water running in and do the meditation. I don't have that facility in San Francisco. I go to a small riverside and sit there and do the meditation. Just get the Chakravakam kind of audio. It's beautiful, beautiful. That's what I think possibly Muthuswami Dikshitar has named this Chakravakam as Toya Vega Vahini, right? So Tyagaraja Swamivaru, he actually composed another saying that Etulo Brotuvo Telia Ekanta Ramaya. He says, Rama, I don't know how you're going to take care of me, Rama. Etulo Brotuvo, I don't know how you're going to take care of Rama. Ekanta Ramaya, I know you will take care of me one-on-one because I love you, Rama. You are the God. I want to see the darshana of you, but I don't know how you take care of me. Did I do any good job, good deeds in the previous life? That is the composition coming from this. Why? Because remember, These birds are Chakravakam, they're away, they Virahatapana, then separation is always there, anxieties is there. They want to meet, they want to get there. Communication at faraway places, right? If you take the same thing, for example, if you are composing something for Rama and Sita, or if you're composing for some other, you must consider Chakravakam because Chakravaka Raga gives that Virahatapana, the communication, right? And also, if you look at the Mirabai, she's basically looking to have darshan of Lord Krishna. She was saying, Krishna, when are you coming? Where are you coming? When are you giving the darshana to me? I'm really waiting for you to see the Virahatapana from a disciple to Devata, the God and the disciple, God and the devotee, right? This is again a Chakravakam. Similarly, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, when he was doing lots of meditation, japa, tapa, sadhanas for Mahakali, he was saying the same thing. Amma, where are you coming? When are you coming? When can I see you, Amma? Show me your picture. Show me your darshana to me, right? If somebody want to write a poem on the Ramakrishna Kali or Mirabai and Krishna bhajans, Chakravakam is the one because this gives the power for you to see the Virahatapana, right? And also, we'll take one more example again. This is the horoscope for Chakravakam Ragam, exclusively for this Ragam, right? If you take again one more time from Muttuswami Adi, Tyagaraja Brahma, Yutulu Brutuvo Tileka Ekantramayya. If you take Mithuna Rashi is the communication, is talking. Karka is the Sukha, the fourth house. Libra is the seventh house. And Dharma is the ninth house and also peace. So these are the empty houses where this particular Chakravaka Ragam is used extensively. Somebody says, Sir, I have everything in my life. I don't know anything. I don't want anything. But guess what? I don't have peace. I cannot sleep in the night. Okay? Chakravakam for you. Because Chakravakam is the 12th house, Sukhasthana, and also peace. This will bring you that. If somebody says, well, me and my wife are working in a software engineers, my wife is in Bangalore and I'm in Delhi, and we are doing a Virahatapana like Chakravakam verse, we don't know when we meet, listen to Chakravakam. So this is the application of these ragas I want you to understand because they're not given just like that. 72 Melakarta ragas, tremendous amount of knowledge was embedded in it. So I'm trying to see if I can cover one or two. Maybe this is the second one we have. Similarly, if you go to the last one, most probably today, then we'll conclude. The third one is Nashika Bhushani. As you know, Nashika Bhushani is the Arohana notes are here, and also the piano. Now this time I requested Miss Hamjini Vaidishwaran. So she was so kind enough to give her audio to us. Let's listen to her.
Ragam Nasika Bhushani Shajam Satruti Rishabam Antaragadaram Pratimadhyamam Panchamam Chatushuti Devatam Kaisika Nishadam Shajam Sari Gama Padani Sa Sani Da
Fantastic. Thank you, Amma. Thanks for your audio and helping us today. So if you look at this, I brought two pictures you already seen millions of times. I love whenever we come to India from USA, me and my wife always go to Kanchikamakshi, Amma. If you look at carefully, Amma has got the nose studs there. Nose stud, right? Keep that in point. We'll see how this Kanaka Nasika Bhushani is coming into action by astrology as well as raga. As you know, Nasika is nose. Bhushani is a jewel. It derived from the dhatu called Abhushana, from the Shabda Manjari. Abhushana means alankara, which is ornament. So an ornament applied to the nose is basically Nasika Bhushani. That's how they lose derivation of this. Stud, or maybe nose ring, various forms as well. So Tyagaraja Swami Varu actually composed Nasika Bhushani. He said, Maravairi Ramani Manju Bhashini. Wow, fantastic. You just look at that itself. Maravairi Ramani Manjubhashini. Again, we need to divide these words. Mara, there are so many meanings in in the Sanskrit for Mara. The other one is called, one we can take is called Manmadha, right? Manmadha has created vikaras to us. How many vikaras? There are Shadripus he has created. And Mana Vairi means enemy. So means because of these Shadripus, we consider them as enemies to ourselves, not to get the spiritual progression. We are obstructed by them, right? Ramani. Ramani is a beautiful thing, right? Ramani, we always say, if you go back to the dictionary, they said Ramyam Iteti Ramaha, which is Ramani. Ramyam Iteti Ramaha, the most beautiful person. Who? Other than mother. Who else can be other than mother, right? Mother herself is the most beautiful. And also Manju Bhashini. Manju Bhashini. Manju is a very soft spoken Bhashini, soft spoken mother. So he's basically telling Amma, Maravairi Ramani, Manju Bhashini, then continues. If you take those words and also look at the Shadrupus, what we have, there are 6 vikaras we have created by Manmada. That's why Mara Vairi. Who are the Vairis? Who are the enemies to us? We said Shadrupus are Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Mascharya. We all know this. So these are the Krura tattvas we have in our human beings. If we overcome them, possibly we'll get to the next level. That's what we're asking. Tyagaraja Swami was asking Mother, can you please help me to overcome these, Amma, so that I can go to the next level? Spiritual progression. That's spiritual progression through Carnatic music. That's the beauty of it. That is why I call all these what shall I say? I actually made some notes on this. Here say the purpose of art of Carnatic music is express the inexpressible through sounds and rhythms of ragas. Isn't it fantastic? And also, every Carnatic musician, practitioner should be a storyteller. Storyteller in the sense using swaras, using the ragas to narrate these kind of things. That's exactly what Tyagaraja Swami was narrating the story. Maravairi Ramani Manju Bhashini, right? If you take a little bit deeper dive, this is the Nasika Bhushani horoscope created based on the framework I gave it to you, right? Then using those, what are the empty houses? Second house and third house and 6th house and 9th house and 12th house. And what is second house is talking about? Vrishabha Rashi, Mithuna Rashi, Kanya, Dharma, Moksha. This is fantastic. Now, let me go into a slightly different approach to say, if this is a node stud for mother, right? And this is the Raga Malika, we call Jyotish. They are Graha Malikas. There's a variation of Graha Malikas, which means mother has got multiple garlands of this Malika yoga. If you take this is, maybe let me do a small cancellation here so that it looks a little better. Yes, there you go. Back to pen. So look at this. Mother has got the nose and she has got the one nose stud here, one nose stud here. Beautiful. That's what the Raga Malikas, the Grahas in a garland of 2 each. And also interestingly notice, each swara, there are 2 swaras, then there is an empty. There's 2 swaras, there's an empty. There's 2 swaras, there is empty. This is also one of the beauteous forms of Nashika Bhushani Raga. There is no other raga has got this kind of formation. If you go back and check, because now you're praising mother and praising mother saying that, Amma, give me the energies, strength to overcome these enemies of Shadripus so that I can see little spiritual progression myself to see you much better, right? And also if you look at it in a slightly different fashion, and if I say this is the nose stud and this is Amma's nose ring, I know my circle is not good, I'm just writing with the hand. So this is the Cancer is coming as the pearl, and Leo is coming as ruby, and Venus is coming as diamond, and Pearl is coming as coral, and Capricorn is coming as blue sapphire, and Aquarius is blue sapphire. Look at this. Mother has got all the gemstones in her nose ring itself. That's what the Jyotish is telling, not me. Right? So how beautiful his mother is telling, hey, don't worry about it. Use these kalatmikas, criticalities to overcome these shadripus. That's what his mother is saying through. Who is telling us? Tyagaraja Brahma is telling us. Tyagaraja Swami Varu is telling us. So that is natural behind this as well. So various things we can say. So the other maybe other option could be looking at this. If this is the start, then you have Kanti Kiranas, Rashmis. That is why we have, when you chant this Kanaka, the Kanaka Bhushan, what is called the Nasika Bhushan Raga, your virtues, your areas of brightness will improve because you're overcoming those Shadrubus slowly. Make sense? I think that is how possibly we can see. And also, is the simplest way. If somebody is having a problem with the breath, lung power is not there for Karnataka, Carnatic music practicing it. What is this nose? Is a source of taking inhale the breath. So use this Nasika Bhushi Raga. Probably you can get much better result for practice itself, learning for yourself as well. So anyhow, I think maybe we'll stop there for the three because I know the lack of time. We cannot go beyond 3 ragas out of 72. I'll close this for now. And maybe quickly I'll take another 3 or 4 minutes we close and we'll say, highlighted this. How do we use this application of these principles? So very typically, if you remember, Jyotish Chakra has got 360 degrees and we divide by 12, we got 30 degrees for each Rasi. Then we have, now I'm bringing another component called Nakshatras. There are 26 Nakshatras. If you divide 360 by 26, you will get 13 degrees, 20 minutes for each Nakshatra. Even further, I divide this into 4 Charanas, 4 Padas, we get 3 minutes, 20 degrees. This is the lowest level we can go. That is why, if you remember when you go to temple, they say, Acha, aapka nakshatra, what is a nakshatra kya hai? Aapka rashi kya hai? They say, what is a nakshatra? What is a rasi? They also don't ask sometimes the nakshatra pada, but it is good to know your nakshatra pada because there are only 4 of them, right? So use those to take advantage of these Melakartaragas. I'll show you in a second. And also, if you take the 72 Melakartaragas, divide by 360 degrees of zodiac, this comes to 5 degrees for each Melakartaraga, which is now overlap of one Nakshatrapada, which means the overlap between Nakshatrapadas, that's what the essence is coming to us. That's what the discovery found. The Rishis already told, we are just trying to find out today. Make sense? Now, if I use that, I created a table for you to look at this and say, Mesha Rashi. Mesha Rashi has got Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika Nakshatra, first pada. And similarly, Vrishabha, Mithuna, Karkataka, Simha, Kanya. I also made the Tattvas as well. If somebody says, Sir, I'm actually practicing Carnatic music. I'm having a lot of headache for the last 3-4 days. I'm not able to concentrate. And my nakshatra is Mrigashira, 3rd padam. So what does it mean? 3rd padam is the Gayaka Priya. So recite, listen to Gayaka Priya to get your mental abilities ready, to get that your moon is activating for you to help, right? So similarly, if somebody says, I'm actually having a challenge on learning this particular raga, and I'm actually born on Satabisha Nakshatra, and I was born in a pada, 3rd pada. Vachaspati is the raga first you must practice, because that will activate your moon. Because without moon, as I said before, Carnatic music is difficult. Any music is difficult. Chandra is very, very important for us because Chandra gives the Sangeeta Shastra to start with. Of course, Guruji's blessings always there, Gurudev blessings always there, other devatas are there, but you have to complement all these pieces together. Remember? Right? So that's one application. Now, maybe I'm coming to a conclusion. Remember, I mentioned to you, I promised in the beginning, Gurudev gave a quotation. He said, music is full for the emotions. What is moon? We understood. Moon is nothing but Jalatattva, right? That is why emotions, right? For example, if you take even during the Paurnami days, the oceans, the seas, they have a higher tides because of Jalatattva, attractions. So what is the percentage of body we have water in our body? 70 percentile, 72 percentile, which is like Jalatattva, which means when the moon is not good, our moods will also be different every day. So in order to practice your Carnatic music, your moon, Chandra, has to be very, very strong. So make sure, that's what exactly what Gurudev is saying. Music is food for the emotions. Remember, you have to control the emotions. That is the food. And he says knowledge is food for the intellect. Intellect is Mercury. What is Mercury? We said Prithvi Tattva. So intellect means Chapala Tattvam means Mercury is like wandering here and there, doing practice, some cell phone, some messaging, some computer. Distractions are quite big. You have to like Prithvi Tattva, you have to be grounded. That's what Mercury is telling us. You have to sit, practice Carnatic music, and do your compilation, your what are the practice you need to get there. Third thing Gurudev said was meditation is a food for the soul. What is soul? Atma, which is nothing but Agni Tattva. So understanding this Agni Tattva, fire. So within the fire, remember I said, we have the fire inside, we got to fire that, we got to lit the fire. We have to activate that fire. How? With sadhanas, meditation, and other pranayams, those kind of things, right? Similarly, I want now, you have listened to this. I know there's some Q&A questions we have some time. But before that, I want to give a homework because I'm a teacher, right? So the teacher always asks for homework. Homework is, I have filled up for you from Muthuswami Dikshita's Bhutalinga Kritis, Pancha Bhutalinga Kritis. This is the temple he's talking about, why this particular temple. And he's also activating a particular linga of one of the elements like Vayu Linga, Prithvi Linga. You need to find out what is the Melakar Traga for this particular Panchabhuta Linga and what is the planet based on what you learned so far, and write it down and send it to me. So your homework is basically filling these two places. That is one homework, right? Make sense? And also, second question I also have for you. Take some of your friends, family members, birth nakshatras, and take what padas they were born with. First pada, second pada, third pada, fourth pada, and find out which particular raga maybe they're good for them. Just take one or two examples and also take this homework, send this back to me by March 31st, 2024. I think today is 24th February, so I think more than a month is good enough for you, or maybe send it sooner. Once I receive this, the first 28 emails replies I receive, you can send it to me, your analysis and recommendation email to me. Rao Garu, this is what my examples are. This is what I'm thinking about. You will get Gurudev's book, Living the Mystery of Life, as a token of my appreciation for your interest on learning this connectivities between these two samudras, sagaras. As an appreciation, free gift, send me your email address, your postal address in India, I'll send it to you. I'm sitting in California, but I'll organize to send from Amazon, India to you. Homework for you, if you're interested, and you don't need to wait until March 31st. Send it to me sooner. So the sooner is better for you and you'll get the book. With that note, I wanted to say sincere thanks to the great team in order for me to come today. I think, first of all, what shall I say? Srividya Vachasvi Garu, she's the director of WFSC, which is World Forum for Art and Culture, part of the Art of Living, Bangalore, India. Thank you, Amma. And also Srimati Soumya Muralidharan, Chennai, thank you for your audio. And also Miss Madhuri Manoj Garu from Hyderabad, thank you for audio, Amma. Similarly, Srimati Hamzini Vaidishwaran. Actually, we went to the Vaidishwaran temple in last trip, me and my wife, Tamil Nadu, fantastic temples. Thank you, Amma, for your time and giving the raga. And also Kriti Chordia, marketing champion, Jodhpur. You did a phenomenal work very quickly with a short span of time. Thank you, Amma, for you. And last but not the least, Srimati Priya Jayanti Garu, you are the foundationally important, critical for this, because you reached out to me for the first time and I was excited. I said, well, if this knowledge needs to go, it has to go. So thank you for your fantastic coordination, collaboration, and also making this. With that note, I sincerely thank Gurudev. Without his blessing, possibly this may not happen without any obstacles. Thank you, Gurudev. And also with that note, maybe I'll stop here and open up for questions if you have any. If not, it's already what, 10:15 p.m. for me. Interesting, I'm not able to sleep yet, so I'm good. I'm here for another 15-20 minutes. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Rao Garu. I think the forum is open. Anybody has any questions, you can come and ask.
Lots of knowledge, right? Lots of
Yes,
information.
it was too much knowledge, and we are all still processing this knowledge. We need to understand how to relate, and so it's too early for a question also for many of us. But if somebody has any question which has popped up in this while, please you
Puneet,
can
Puneet
unmute
is
and
raising his
speak.
hand. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Puneet.
Puneet, please go ahead. Sumitra,
Oh,
Puneet,
I think maybe we have muted everybody. We
I
have.
have. I'm one
Yes,
of you can.
Namaste, sir. It was it's such an eye-opening session for us. Thank you so much for it. So, two questions you already answered, like casting the horoscope for the swaras, and also degree-based information that also you have given. So, my other question would be, we always associate deities to various vahanas. So based on the vahanas, similarly, even for the planets, we do associate that to vahanas. So can you please throw light on that? Maybe deities, vahanas, and the planets, or vice versa, either
yeah,
ways.
fantastic
And my
question.
other question would be, so you spoke about the Sampurna ragas, like the Nasika Bhushini or Dhira Shankarabharana. So, what is your opinion on the Vakra Ragas or the Vivadis? And is there any association to that? And one last question will be, can we also associate instruments to the planets? Because this question has been there in my mind for a long time.
Perfect. Oh my
Even the structure of the instruments as well.
Sumitra, these are all fantastic questions. They're very, very relevant. I think the vahanas. They have given a vahana for a particular reason. If you look at the Jyotish point of view, we have chara, sthira, ubhaya rasis. So somebody is looking for movement from a particular place to a different place, maybe a particular raga to a next level, the sthira to chara, then using that devatas, that particular vahana will give the movement for you. Chara to sthira to ubhaya. I'm okay. I want both. I want to come back home every evening, ubhaya. I want to go from Bangalore to, say, Delhi to practice my next male Katraga concert or learning from a teacher. Chara. That's first question. The second one is the Sampurna Ragas and Janya Ragas, as I mentioned before. Oh my God, that itself is a huge sagara. Maybe we'll take a deeper dive. Trust me. This was a eye-opening for myself because when I said I spent 20 plus years in Jyotish, I thought I know, but when I dig into this, I was telling Priya Garu, I was also looking at the similar thing for Natya Shastra, Sumitra. There are 8 different types of Natya we have in classical dances. They're all connected to Natya Shastra or Jyotish. Maybe a separate session will take it. And so that's the second question. I forgot the third question, Amma. Can you repeat?
About the instruments, musical
Yeah,
instruments.
perfect. I think I touched very early on my discussion today. The Parasar Maharshi, Jaimini Maharshi, and Varah Mihira, they said, by looking at a horoscope, people comes to me and say, the parents ask me, Rao Garu, is this person we're thinking to put in a music? Do you think this person will go for a long time or just like at 6 months and after that the job is done, I'm not interested, right? Because we don't want to waste the time for anybody. So I take a deep dive and see whether this person is really have the Purva Punya to learn Jyotish to the Melakartragas or Carnatic music and how long. And also we say, based on the grahas, we can define what instruments they will be playing as well. For example, if you take the longest instrument, what is the longest instrument, Sumitra?
Yeah, maybe Veena for now.
Exactly, Veena. So one of the
Veena,
longest, right?
Veena.
So if you look at the Rahu Graham is the longest one. So Rahu represents the Veena like a snake, the long tail. Make sense? That is how the Parasar Maharshi has given lots of good sutras. Maybe we'll talk that in much more detail. What shall they do? That's why sometimes recently I was talking, one of my friend's son was asking me, Raghav, my friend is saying he's in high school right now. He want to go for the electric guitar. And he's saying, I want electric guitar for $3,000. So I'm wondering whether we should actually use that much money for right now. I said, okay, send me your horoscope. Looked at it, I said, fantastic. Ask him to give him $100 electric guitar for 3 months. If he continues after 3 months, maybe spend $4,000. After 3 months, he called and said, Rao, yeah, you're right. I think he's busy with some other school activities and college sports and everything, so he could not continue. That is what we say, grahachara. The transits will tell us how long this interest. Is it a 1 day, 2 days, 1 year, 15 days, years? We need somebody with longer time periods so that they can get the perfection in that one. Excellent questions.
Oh,
Puneet,
much.
please, you have some questions. Still he's on mute.
Yeah.
Can you unmute?
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sir, just want to mention that I also had my first seat for astrology from Sanjay sir. So yeah, we have a common.
He's my
But
teacher.
some-
He's one of my teachers.
So my question is that being the astrology student, can remedies be derived from ragas? And I do take an idea from the silence within those, but I believe that on the horoscopes which were mapped on the ragas were the Kalpurusha chart, right? But in the normal astrology chart, we'll have the lordships not sitting in their houses; it will be somewhere else. So how
Great.
that
To
would
answer
be
your
mapped?
question, I got your question. Watch a YouTube video I gave exclusively on how to use ragas as remedial measures. Today's topic is not remedial measures because I want to connect these together. And your questions are 110% will be answered in that on the lesson. If not, you have my email address, send an email. When I have time, I'll reply for 100% for you. Any other questions?
Thank you, Puneetji. We have one more person, Kalpana Kishore. Kalpana ji, can you turn on your camera, please?
Yeah. Namaste, Raghavji.
Kalpana ji, thank you.
My question is, you were talking about the Katapayadi system in Carnatic music. So can you just show an example in Jyotish Shastra where you use Katapayadi? Because just now I came to know that system is there in Jyotish also. I don't know whether it's, it may be a detail, but just to understand how that works there. Just a small example.
Yeah, perfect. So I think, Jaimini Maharshi, he's an advanced scholar. So he said, and that's why I wrote a book recently, I think my 4th book in astrology. You know what I read, Kalpana ji? The first page, I said, this is an advanced astrology book. If you're a beginner, please return this back to this bookstore. This is not for you. Because I was very clear. That is exactly what Jaimini Maharshi said. That is why he gave Jaimini Sutra Mulu, Sutras, formulas. And the formulas of all these 4 adhyayas Jaimini Maharshi has given. Maybe you send me your email address. I'll send you some examples. I've also wrote some articles. I'll show you how to use this cryptic way of, and of course, my teacher, Pandit Sanjay Rath, wrote a fantastic book on Jaimini Sutras. I use it every day, right? So there are tons of examples I can give you. By looking at this, we understand something. But if we apply Jaimini's cryptic method of Katapayadi system, the message is reverse. Karaka, Karaka Amsha. That's it. Small change of Amsha changes the reverse. The order of the houses will be different. That is how Jyotish will use Katapayadi system extensively.
Achha, Karaka Amsha. Thank you, sir.
Perfect.
Thank you, Kalpana ji. Any more questions? I think they can write to you now as it's getting late for you as well. So we'll end today's session here. If you have any questions, you can write to Rao Garu. Please also leave your feedback in the YouTube channel. So this whole episode has been is there live, has gone into the YouTube channel as well. So please leave your comments and suggestions on the YouTube channel as well in the comment section. And thank you so much for joining this morning. I would also like to call our, before we end, I just want to invite Sunil Sunkaraji if he's available. Sunil Sunkaraji, he's the head of the dance department at the World Forum for Art and Culture. And he's joined today because I had informed him that this interesting session is happening, and he's really looking forward to the session on dance as well. So Sunilji, if you're available, please come online, because he's performing in the Khajuraho festival today. So I think he's unable to mute himself. Sunilji? Okay.
That's
Not a
the
problem. I won't take it.
topic, Priyaji.
Yeah, we'll end.
I mean, the yoginis or the, if you look at the Navar of Mata, she sits in the middle, and, Manidvipa Varnana, unbelievable Natya Shastra information is there. That we can bring it back with astrology. Phenomenal, another explosive discovery. Interesting for the dancers and dance practitioners.
I think we can all connect back on the same forum again for the next session. And till then, we can all stay connected with Rao Garu's email and ponder on these thoughts that he has shared today. Thank you so much for joining. We'll end today's session here. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time, Priyaji. Thanks, everybody. And Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Sri Ainam. Om Sri Ainama. Om Sri Ainama. Sarvam Sri Mahalakshmi Arpanamastu. Swasti. Thank you all.
Namaste.